Welcome to the 77th video in our series about Unix tools. In an earlier video in this series, I discussed using tar and XZ to create backups you can transfer to other systems. These days, even the File Explorer on a fully patched Windows machine can open and extract files from tar-xz. However, you may encounter zip files from time to time. Some large datasets used for research are distributed in zip archives. The good news is that all modern full-featured Linux installations include the info, zip, and unzip programs. The bad news is they are unmaintained and have had no official releases in over a decade, despite a long list of vulnerabilities. And if we work at it, we should be able to see those. This is a text mode browser if you don't know what I'm doing here. A little awkward, but it's what we've got that'll fit in the video. So, at the InfoZip project that you can see across the top, bug number 71 is asking, when will 6.1 be released? And you can see the question was asked first in June in 2023. And the author of this request has said, hey, when will the next version be released? And will it fix all these known vulnerabilities? And you can see there's a long list from CVE. So the response, unfortunately, is from other people. There are a lot of CVEs that never get patched. And later, you see from Paul Marquez, who's pretty famous in the computer world. And his response is, all the distros have patches. So we don't need to fix the master copy, which is a bad attitude, but corporate for sure. You know, somebody had Red Hat is saying, oh, you want the bug fixes? Well, pay for our support and we'll give them to you. So that's where we are with that. You should never create new zip archives, but you need to be able to extract files from existing zip archives, like those large data sets you can download. To demonstrate that, of course, I must break my own rule and create a zip file for use in demonstrations of the unzip command. Unlike plain tar format, zip format allows different kinds of compression for each file it stores, and it allows comments for each file, as well as a built-in global comment for the entire archive. And since compression support is part of the zip format, you don't need to do that in that two-step process where you create the archive and then you compress it that we do with tar and XZ. With zip, you can do it all with one tool for creation, and they have a separate tool for unpacking. So, why do people still use zip archives? You only need one tool and it's pretty convenient. The optional comments per file and per archive are another reason some people still use zip, since they don't need a separate README file. And also the ability to compress different members of the zip archive using different methods is great, because compress text, sure, I want to. Compress a DVD movie? No. You know, Blu-ray won't compress anymore. It's already compressed. And with zip, you can include both text and the Blu-ray in some archive, and it's smart enough to know not to recompress the Blu-ray. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Are we ever going to get to it? The takeaway Don't create new zip archives unless you're making a demo like this video. But you need to work with existing ones. Okay, let's get to it. If you remember, in one of our recent videos, we had, let me use find because it's easier to see. We had a project that had makefile and makefile2, and they were used to create static and dynamic libraries for C programmers. And the makefile created a static library, a .a, and makefile2 created a .so. So if we were working on this project and we were really good people, everything would be in the Git version control. But if I'm going to send this to a friend to use it, they don't need all that Git information. I also have this directory called docs. What's in there? That's the introduction front page for old videos. I don't need that if I'm sending this code for somebody else to use. So, how do I zip this up? I've moved to the parent of Yo. I want the entire Yo graph, all the files in there, but I don't want the docs and I don't want the Git. That's our goal. So we do a zip, and then we're going to do recursive, and we're going to have to do this WS switch, which I'll talk about in a minute. We need to generate some reasonable file name, so I'm going to use the date command with year, month, day, hour, minute, second, and I'm going to use ICT, Indochina time, which is Bangkok time. So there's the name of the archive, and then the directory I want, which is Yo. But I don't want Yo Git anything, and I don't want Yo Docs anything. Okay. The WS allows us to use this double star. And this is how you can exclude some tree, some subtree. So let's try it. And it's stopped, and you have to ask yourself, why did it stop? I think the smart people in the room noticed I missed a double quote. So I'll do it again, and I'll put the double quote in there like I should. And there it is. It's added Yo, it's added makefile, makefile2, the factorial, the sign, and the test it. So we've got everything we wanted, and we don't have that extra stuff from docs and Git. We were successful creating this archive. And if we want to know what's the name of the archive, remember you can use that command to do a long listing of all files in reverse order by date. And if you see a directory, don't go in the directory. Show me the directory itself. And then we know that this file has to be in the last 5 new files. And there it is. This is our new file we just created. As you can see, this one was at 3:49 and 54 seconds, and it's 3:50 and 46 seconds. So this is our new file, and it's pretty small, 2802. How do we see what's inside the file without actually unpacking anything? We just want to take a look. Well, if we do an unzip -VL of our file, you get to see what's inside. And you can see that those are the file names, and that looks just like the file names we had when we created. And you can see that the compression, let's just pick one. It said I could compress Taylor's sign, 51%. And if we look up here, when he did Taylor's sign, he said, yeah, 51%. So we've got the date and timestamp, we've got the compression, we've got the size. It tells you how we did it. You can't really compress a directory entry, so it's stored. These other ones are using deflate. And you see the length. The length here is after I unpack. This is the compressed size. It should be about half of 706, 335, thus 53%. So, great. We can see what's inside, but we haven't extracted any file yet. But at least we've learned how to see what's inside, what's available. Unfortunately, we've reached our time limit for this video, so you'll have to come back in our next video where I show you how to do several things. Unpack them all, unpack just one, or unpack some that match a pattern. Until then, thank you for listening.